Hi guys, welcome back to another video. This week's vlog is going to be obviously an Iron Flame or Fourth Wing Iron Flame Onyx Storm reading vlog. Today is January 3rd. Onyx Storm comes out on the 21st, and so I thought obviously what better time than now to reread Fourth Wing, reread Iron Flame in order to prep for Onyx Storm. Fourth Wing original thoughts were that I was obsessed with it. Like I think it was my first fantasy I had read in a very, very long time, like years and years and years. And so I was just like so obsessed with it, thought it was so good. Like I loved it. The politics, the romance, the hatred, the fighting, like all of it was absolute perfection. I rated Fourth Wing 5 stars, obviously. I'm very interested to reread it and see what I think, because recently I reread Legendborn, which was originally a 5-star read as well. Reread it, immediately it went down to 3. So I'm a little bit nervous. I will say I'm a little bit nervous because, you know, past me, she needs to be held accountable for her past ratings. Iron Flame, I don't remember. I think I rated that one 3 stars. Yeah, 3 stars. I did feel, you know, it kind of dragged in some not even in some, it dragged in a lot of places for me. But now knowing what I know, I wonder if I will like it more. I can't wait to find out, and I cannot wait for Onyx Storm. I already pre-ordered my book back in March. Actually, it's already almost been an entire year since I pre-ordered it, and I got the hardcover sprayed edges with the dragons. Like I'm so excited. So yeah, let's begin. This is so fun. Like I love reading. Is the light in the bedroom absolutely crazy? I'm bringing you guys to my private reading quarters. I have my Kindle, obviously reading Fourth Wing, my chocolate, my iPad, my phone, heating pad. I'm very cozy. I've barely made it to chapter 10 of Fourth Wing since I updated you guys. It's been like a few days, but it's because my kids just went back to school today. And so, you know, life has been lifing. Anyway, I am eating this up. I was nervous going into it that I was gonna be like, I fear I might have to, you know, bring my rating down a little bit. Maybe it didn't actually hit as much as I thought it did. But honestly, on the reread, she's eating. She is delivering. It's so good. The writing is so easy to understand. I also feel like we really need to talk about the art of rereading and like how important that actually is, because this is now my third book that I've reread like recently, and it's so fun. It's like it's like reading the same book, but for a second time, it's almost as if it's a whole different book. It's a whole different reading experience, and I feel like I've not heard a single person talk about like how much of a different experience rereading a book you've already read is. Obviously, that's what a reread is, okay? Anyway, it's just a completely different experience. I feel like typically, especially with fantasy, when it's my first read, I'm almost like speed reading, like I just want to know the end, so I like consume the book all at like one go or like really quickly, and I miss out on a lot of details because I'm just like, oh my goodness, like I'm so stressed, my heart is pounding, like I'm just like, hurry up, what's gonna happen. The second read, 1, I don't remember all of the small details, so that's super fun. 2, I already know the ending, so like I don't even need to speed through because I already know the ending. 3, I actually forget so much that's happened that like I'm still genuinely shocked. You guys, this is a full spoiler vlog also, if you didn't know, if I didn't warn you yet. Why am I literally reading it and Dana's like, oh yeah, my signet is like knowing people's last memory if I touch their like temples. Why did I literally go like, girl, you have fully read this book before and Iron Flame. Why was that my reaction? Like I'm so interested. I don't know why I reacted that way, but I was like genuinely shocked, even though I fully already knew that. Anyway, very interesting. And I think that I like rereads more than initial reads, and it's just making me want to reread all of my favorite books, because I felt like I'm not gonna like a reread because I already know what's gonna happen. But actually it's making it so much better that I'm like, I want to reread every book on my shelf. Also great news for us, because I've spent so much money on books. So much. I probably have 400 fiction books in my house alone, not even including Bibles, not even including nonfiction, all the other genres. So what a gift to myself that I can continue rereading these books. It's only been a year since I read Fourth Wing the first time. So like imagine all the other books that like 2, 3, 5, 10 years passes. Like it's gonna be a whole new book to me. It's gonna be a whole new book. That's such a gift. It makes the investment in physical books so much more worth it. Anyway, I just had to share the fact that I was like literally jaw dropped. I literally was reading and I went about this man's signet. As if I didn't already know I did already know what it was. And that's actually a part I remembered. So why was I shook? It does make me though, I feel like my first read, I kind of just like was like, okay, cool, that's a signet. And now I'm so much more keen to like every time he touches her face or like cups her face. Rebecca loved to say, he cut my face. Girl, he touching them temples. He touching them temples. Okay, I'm on to him. So I'm very much like, ooh. Also, the first read, I did not really notice the fact that it had rained the day they're passing or they're like walking the parapet. Is that how you say it? Parapet. I literally feel like I make up my own words. Like I make up my own pronunciation. So parapet is what I call it. Please correct me. The fact that there was a storm and her mom is a storm wielder, but also we know that Violet, I can't remember what they call it in here, but she also controls storm. So was she making it storm because she was so nervous? I can't remember. Also just like things I'm picking up on. Also it's kind of funny because like obviously I read it, but also obviously I forgot a lot. That's my update. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm on chapter 10. I'm eating it up. We're doing a little sprint in the book club. It's a good night. It's only 8:30. I'm feeling great. It's just getting later and later, but I'm still on chapter 10. I'm like at the very end of it. And this was another thing I forgot to say is on my first read, I did not notice that obviously they have some kind of connection, Xaden and Violet, because like he always knows when she's around. Like he can feel it, or like even when he's looking at her, it's always like the air gets cold, or like the hairs on the back of her neck stand up. Like it was so obvious that they have some kind of like communication ability, or like chapter 10, the guys are just on their dragons getting back, and she's like, wait, what were they doing? And she's kind of like standing in the shadows, and he's like walking with his cousin and his friend, and like stops mid-step and like knows that she's there even though he didn't see her. And so anyway, that's just another thing I did not notice, but it's actually such a funny little cute part of the book. Like it's so mysterious. I guess this is just like all part of the slow burn of it, and I love that. Okay, I'm reading. It's gonna snow in the morning and I'm so excited. So we're like full cozy vibes right now. I've been reading for like the past 3 hours. Just like right here, eating these. If you have a H-E-B near you, the oatmeal apple pie cookies. It'll make no sense. Grocery stores that have bakeries that bake fresh baked goods are dangerous, because you're telling me I can pick up fresh baked apple pie oatmeal cookies on an average Tuesday? Yeah. One of my favorite scenes in Fourth Wing, when she's asleep and dreaming and all of the unbonded cadets break into her room, and Darna freezes time, and Xaden is there with his shadows, and he walks in, he's pissed, and he's like, you're all dead. I love this part. I literally was like, let me go get my water. Like I stopped right at the part where he's like, you're all dead, just so I can like savor this moment, because it's literally one of my most favorite scenes, and I want to just like be at max comfortability. I was also thinking about the first time that I read Fourth Wing, and at the gym I work out at, I know one of the trainers there because we've worked out at this gym together for a long time, and she's just super sweet, like super personable. Anyway, she was like, I saw one of your TikToks, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm embarrassed. I was like, oh yeah, I post book videos. And she goes, what do you mean you post book videos? And I was like, yeah, I post book videos. And she was like, shut up. She's currently rereading Iron Flame for obviously the release, and I'm rereading Fourth Wing for the release, and we were just like squealing, screaming in the middle of the gym the other morning. But it made me think, because she was like, what do you think Violet's other signet is? And I was like, I don't know. I need to finish my reread because I feel like at the time I first read it, let's see, this came out May 2nd, 2023. I feel like when I first read it, I didn't know that it was going to be as big as it ended up being, and with like everybody making up their theories and stuff, like I didn't know it was that big of a deal. So when I originally read it, I did not go into it thinking like, oh my goodness, I need to know, I need to pay so close attention to all of the little Easter eggs dropped. That was another thing I just noticed, is like I'm not really into any of the lore because when I read it, I feel like it wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just like wasn't as plugged into the book space. Because I read it before I think I read it before I changed this channel over, I'm pretty sure. Bro, I'm trying to find it. I read it July 30th to August 3rd. It only took me a few days to read it. I was like so in love with it. So I read it like 2 months after it came out, which I feel like it's not that long. Anyway, I didn't know the hype, and I also feel like, another thing I was thinking about, I feel like when the 4th week hype really started, everybody who like reads a lot of fantasy was kind of like giving these backhanded reviews of like, oh, like, yeah, if you're like new to fantasy, like I can see why you like it, but like I didn't like it. Like kind of giving the vibe that like 4th wing is like beginner fantasy vibes, and maybe it is, like what do I know? But I do kind of feel like now that it's so loved, just like by people who are new to fantasy, but also people who read a ton of fantasy, I'm like, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of vindicated because I'm like, it actually is just a good book. It's not just good to those of us who don't really read fantasy. So anyway, let me go back to my favorite scene. We are doing a little sprint in the book club, and we have 16 minutes left, and how many more minutes? 22 minutes left in this chapter. My goal was to make it to chapter 22. Doesn't look like that's gonna happen, but it's fine. I'm so excited for this scene. My other favorite scene before this is when Violet literally goes in on Dane because he's such a freaking hater. Anything she does, he always has something negative to say. He's so nitpicky and so annoying. I can't even believe she put up with him for as long as she did. I also feel like on my first read, I felt like they were actual best friends. But honestly, this time around, I feel like I can tell her annoyance by him so much more from the beginning. I feel like I was really gaslit by Rebecca the first time around. I'm like, but they're best friends, like you would never. But really rereading it, knowing what ends up happening, I feel like you can actually feel her distance from him, like from the beginning. Also, I feel like this time around, I'm like, oh, a lot of people are black. A lot of the characters are black. Like, Bodhi has the same bronzed skin. That's brown. Bronzed? Bronze? Not tan, like bronzed. Which is interesting because I remember the first time I read it, I was like, I don't read a lot of fantasy. If you didn't know that, I don't read a lot of fantasy. So I really didn't like know what to imagine for the characters. Like I found it hard to not picture like normal looking people. And I feel like even now I kind of imagine like anime type people, because when I looked up like fan casting or whatever you call it, a lot of them were white. I think like actually at the time that I had looked up, all of the like art that people made for it, they were all white. Like Zayden was white, but I'm like, it says Bodhi has the same bronze skin as Zayden, but his features aren't as angular as Zayden's, and his eyes are a lighter shade of brown. Oh, I also didn't notice this the first time. After the whole, like, they tried to freaking kill her in her sleep, and she's saying, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, the mantra in her head, and he responds out loud, yes, you're alive. They tried to just, like, glaze over the fact that he can now hear her thoughts. Has he always been able to hear them, or is it just now? And she says, I didn't realize I'd said that out loud. Already now, like, the comparison, it's only been, like, 1 page later, and she's like, oh, the only reason I've survived this long is because of the dragon scales in her corset. And he's like, sure, but like also there's other reasons why you've come this far. Dane is like, you're not gonna make it, I'm so scared. But Zayden's like, I know exactly why you made it. Slay, period. I also don't remember how they got in the room. How did they unlock the door? I can't remember. I remember that being like a big part of it, but I can't remember now. Okay, it's like 2 days later because it's been snowing in Texas for the last 2 days. And so we've just been having like absolutely stunning, gorgeous snow days. It's starting to melt now because we're at the very end of our last snow moment. But it has been so much fun. Maybe this side will be a little bit better to see. Yes, you can see all the snow on top of the house. So cool. Growing up in California, we never had snowy anything. Like it probably snowed one time my entire life growing up there, and it was like not even a lot of snow. Like I barely remember it. I think I was probably like 4. So been a long time. So it's kind of fun. Ever since we moved to Texas, actually, it snowed every it snowed every year since we moved here, so it's pretty cool. We always get like 1 to 2 to 3 days of snow. Anyway, it's been 4th wing day again. I'm on chapter, let me find my spot. I'm probably close to like chapter 30 maybe now. Let's see, chapter 26 actually. And I have like 200 more pages left. Only other thing I've really noticed is how much she uses the word onyx to describe Zayden's eyes, which makes me even more excited for Onyx Storm. So I'm gonna bake some cinnamon rolls. I'm not gonna like hand make them, you know, but I'm gonna use the whole package. Make some cinnamon rolls and then continue reading 4th wing until I have to make dinner.
Marshmallow that we can have.
You can have 10 marshmallows. At last, I have finished 4th wing. I've honestly just been reading it before I go to bed, and then last night I suddenly was very sick and just did not feel good, so I got in bed super early. And I remember the first time I read 4th wing, the last like 3.5 hours of the book I read all in one sitting. If you've read the end of it, you know that that's when like they run into some problems, and it's like a very fast-paced ending, like the last 3 hours, which is amazing. It's not like, oh, the last 10 pages you get a lot of action. It's like 3 hours would be almost 200 pages, like the last 200 pages of the book. That is magnificent. I love it. I literally read until like 1 in the morning. I definitely paid for it this morning when I had to wake up and get my kids ready for school. But I remember doing that last time I read this, reading like the last 200 pages all in one go. Like I was obsessed with it. I could not stop reading, and the same thing happened last night. You just have to keep reading. Like you just have to know what's gonna happen. And again, 5 stars. Like this book is so good to me. I'm like so proud of Rebecca. I read like the author's note again also, and her just talking about how this is her first fantasy novel, and like how she really poured so much of her heart and soul into this book and wanted it to be really successful. And so there's just like, when you love the book and you're just like, the pacing was great, the writing is great, the story is great, like there's so many moments where you're just like, oh my goodness, and you're squealing and kicking your feet and you're swooning, and it's, you really just get everything. I feel like you also get the politics and the war and the dragons, and it's just all so good. You also get the complex family dynamics. It's so good. Like she really killed it. This is great. This is so great. I don't know if I already said it, but also just picking up so much on how often she says onyx when describing Zayden's eyes. And I cannot wait for this 3rd book. Like I'm just getting more and more excited. I cannot wait for it. I am going to start Iron Flame right now, actually. Wow, she is stunning. And my son told me this morning, he was like, did you know it's gonna snow next week? And I said, whoa, what day? Because I pre-ordered Onyx Storm and it's supposed to be getting delivered on Wednesday, the 21st, right? Yes, the 21st. No, Tuesday the 21st. But I guess it's gonna snow on Wednesday the 22nd. So it should not interfere with my delivery day. I will be so mad if it does interfere. Hopefully not. Iron Flame is so big, and my original thoughts on Iron Flame was that it was very boring kind of and drawn out, and I was just kind of waiting for something to happen, especially after the ending of this one. I was really waiting for something to happen. It's an extra 100 pages, Iron Flame, but I wonder, rereading it, if I will feel differently about it. Also, one of my favorite aspects of Fourth Wing is the dragons bonding to Violet, and now the dragons having to be separated because Xaden is graduating. And I love that tension of like, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna exist? Like that part of the story, I'm like, she really snapped with that one. Like there's something about that whole plot line that I was just like obsessed with following, and just kind of like, I loved the stress of it as I was reading it. Like how they both did not want to be apart from each other. Like you have the dragons who were just kind of like, they don't take orders from humans. So they're gonna do whatever the heck they want anyway. They have such big attitudes. They're like ruthless. But then you also have Violet and Xaden, who like aren't being completely honest about how they feel about each other. There's a lot of history there, but also they won't be able to be separated. And then once they do start liking each other, then you really see the stress of the separation, the looming graduation really just like hanging over them. I love that part of the story. Anyway, originally just felt like it was a world building book, which I don't mind at all actually. I think if it was just like constant war, I would be like, okay, now we're just constantly reading about war, you know? Like I feel like you do need a good up and down of it, and I do feel like in Fourth Wing she did such a good job of like the beginning, when she's like walking the parapet, all of that is very high stakes, and then you kind of reach a point in the story where it is just kind of a hum, like a little hum, but you don't notice, at least I didn't when I was reading it, I don't notice that like nothing's really happening. I never ever felt that while reading it, even though there is a natural decline in what's happening and the stress and all that, and then in the end it's just like whoosh, and you're just like stressed out and you're like, oh my gosh, what is gonna happen? I'm so stressed. Yeah, I think that pacing is perfection. I do remember feeling like the pacing of this one, I noticed like there was a extreme drop in what is happening in the story. It almost feels like there was nothing happening in the story. But I'm interested to see how I feel on a reread. Do I feel the same way or not? I'm also going to pay close attention to signets and what I think the second one will be, so I can come back to you with some theories. Because I didn't do that the first time I read it, because I didn't know it was going to be as big of a deal as it is. And I also, like, when I read fantasy, I'm not trying to like figure stuff out really like I do in mystery thrillers. I'm not trying to like solve anything. I will say in this one I did pick up a lot more on like the little Easter eggs of her hinting at, talking about what we know happens in Iron Flame, and I was just like, wow, she really told us, but she didn't tell us, but she did tell us, and I just didn't pick up on it. So let's read Iron Flame. This is a huge book. I have been obsessed with these granola bars lately, and having an energy drink. So that's what I'm gonna do. I already opened up my energy drink way earlier. It's already almost 12, but it lasts so long because a while ago I bought this Brewmate little koozie. I call it a koozie. I don't know if that's really what it is, but it keeps my energy drink so cold and so crispy for so much longer. I feel like before I would waste so many Alanis because I couldn't finish them before they like got flat. Or Disney Treasure Blanket. So Like, I didn't even realize it was already 12 and my drink is still like really cold. I do put it in the freezer for an hour before I drink it. So obviously that contributes too, but I like my Alani's. Sorry, I'm so close to be very cold. It's so cold. I'm gonna be cozy now. And just read. I'm so excited. I brought my Kindle too because I feel like I'm not gonna want to hold this book. I'm gonna want to lay down and read for a little bit, so I do that before I have to go to the gym and then pick up my kids from school. I'm so excited. The only downside is I've been reading on my Kindle because, well, I read almost all my, I was gonna say because it's so big, but honestly, I feel like I end up reading all of my books on my Kindle because I'm just obsessed with it. But the downside to that is I never looked at the map really as I was reading to actually see like where everyone was at. Now it's kind of seeing like where, it's kind of cool seeing exactly like where everybody was at and how far they were flying and stuff like that. I'm actually more excited this time reading it than I was the first time, which is pretty cool. Wait, why am I so excited right now? It just made me think, I wonder, obviously I would not comment this publicly, but between me and you, I wonder after the third book when we will get the fourth book. Because we know that there's 5. So I'm just thinking, I wonder if we're gonna have to wait 2 years, because I like how in this one, she kind of gives an overview of like what just happened. And I love when authors do that because then you get a little bit of a wrap up. But it just made me think I don't need it because I literally just finished Fourth Wing last night. But for the 4th book, Rebecca said she's on a break. So it's probably going to be like 2 years before we get the 4th book. I feel like 2 years till we get the 4th book. And then I feel like we'll get the 4th and the 5th 1 year after each other. Like the 4th book will come out 2026. And I think we'll get the last book 2027. That's just my prediction. Okay, I made it to chapter 8 of Iron Flame, page 100 on my Kindle, but I think it's different in this. Anyway, I'm loving it. I love the world. I'm loving Iron Flame more than I was the first time I read it already, not even that far in. And I did answer my own question that I asked earlier when I was talking about knowing that Violet would be able to wield lightning. Is she the one that made the storm come the day that they walked the parapet? But no, because she's a lightning wielder, not a storm wielder. Her mom obviously wields storms, but I was just thinking like, can her mom only wield rain or can she also wield lightning too? Because they're like, there's not a known lightning wielder in like centuries. But then just now on whatever chapter this is, chapter 8, it's like the first page of chapter 8, she says that her mom didn't cause the storm the day they walked the parapet. So very interesting. I totally thought she did, which she could have gotten rid of the storm, but she chose not to. But I guess she also didn't cause it. So I don't know. That I still feel like that has something to do with it, but maybe not. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Anyway, I'm going to keep reading, and I'm constantly looking for clues as to what her second signet will be. I cannot wait till we get, the first years are about to barely walk the parapet, so I'm not that far in, only like 10%. Today is the 18th, so I have 3 days to finish this before Onyx Storm, except I got bad news from Barnes & Noble today. My Onyx Storm pre-order shipped yesterday, but it says it's not going to get here till the 23rd, so I will probably have to go to Barnes myself and buy it the day it comes out, because there's no way I need to read it the day it comes out. I'm not waiting 2 days later. I haven't been doing very much Iron Flame reading except this morning, which I read like a few chapters. Earlier I listened to a tiny bit of the audiobook like while I was in the shower and getting ready and stuff. 18 hours it says left on the audio, which is quite scary because today is the 19th and it's 10 p.m. already, so I don't have, if I want to get to bed at a decent time, I don't have very much time. Anyway, we're literally in the book club right now discussing all things Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and just like fan casting and fan art and what do they call it? Like, what's the official name for it? Fan fiction? Fan art? And like how we picture Xaden. Like, Allison sent these. There's one. There's the other. I feel like I picture him more like this, but I guess both are valid. And it's just so funny. It's making me so excited. I'm probably gonna spend all of tomorrow reading. Yeah, I'm obsessed. One thing I will say, I'm obsessed with Iron Flame so far. I'm like 100 and, where's my book? I'm on chapter, it's so kind of annoying because my Kindle's a different page than the physical copy book that I have. I don't know why. So I'm on page 195 on my Kindle. This much, and I have this much left. That is not good. That is really not good. I wonder if tomorrow I'm going to be able to read the entire thing. But I was thinking, I'm loving it so much. I rated it originally, I think, at 3 stars. I think I told you guys that already. But so far, it's 5 stars. Like, I am eating it up. I'm so obsessed with it. It's just I've been busy, so I haven't been able to just like sit down and read during the daytime. But I think tomorrow I'm going to clear my schedule. I'm sorry. I'm going to clear my schedule. And I'm just going to do what's necessary. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to have to finish it. I'm liking it so much more than I did the first time I read it. The first time I read it, I felt like they were on that mountain forever. And maybe I will feel that way as I keep reading. Like, I'm going to keep reading, obviously. But I remember feeling like they're just on the mountain forever. And we basically spent the entire book building into the next thing. And I don't feel that way so far. So far, I am like, there's so much suspense. Like, I'm literally stressed. Like, when they make her yield her lightning 1,000,000 times so that she burns out because Andarna won't come to like flight practice and stuff, I literally was like shaking my boots. I forgot so much that happens in the book. So anyway, I'm loving it right now, and I cannot wait for Onyx Storm. Like, I'm literally so excited. My Barnes & Noble package says it's not going to get here still to the 23rd. So that means on the 21st, me and you are going on a little trip to get it, because I will be reading it the day it comes out, and I do want it in my hands the day it comes out. Probably won't pre-order from Barnes & Noble again because this is dumb. Like, I want it the day it comes out. You know what I mean? So my plans for right now, it's 10:11. I'm going to kind of plan out my day for tomorrow, which will be probably nothing, but I need to still see what I need to do and listen for a little bit, and then switch over to reading for the rest of the night. So I'll probably see you guys tomorrow. Also, a lot of people like the graphic audio. I'm liking the regular audio, personally, for me. I did graphic audio for ACOTAR, and I didn't hate it, but I don't know, sometimes I just tell me the story. Don't add all these extra, dragon roars and stuff. Like, sometimes I just want the story read to me, so I'm really enjoying it. It's peaceful, but intense.
Otherwise known as Calvin, argues with Rion and mutters from my right side. I nod, but keep from chuckling. Cohen throws his head back on Riddick's right and...
Hello, it's the next day. I'm listening to Iron Flame as we plan something super fun for the book club. We're doing this like traveling annotation thing where we are all in like groups of like 4 to 7 people. Each of us choose a book, read it, annotate it, and then ship it to the next person. And then in the end, you receive your original book choice back with everyone's annotations and tabs and doodles and stuff. Oh, I'm so excited. So I've just been listening. But it just made me think about how she had a dream and saw that Taryn was about to be attacked. So I wonder if that could be part of her signet stuff, is like dreaming or being able to see the future or something like that. I don't know. I could be a literal clown right now. But I don't know. I just thought that was like a random little part in the book. Like, suddenly it started off like that. So I don't know. I'm only at chapter 23. Keep listening and chill. I woke up feeling pretty sick. I'm pretty sure I have like a cold or something. Overall, just not feeling great. I just got grocery delivery. Did I tell you guys this? But I'm having a fruit addiction. Like, as if I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant, but when I was pregnant with Carter, I literally had a watermelon specific addiction craving. Oh man, this is open. That stinks. Anyway, I got the groceries delivered. And I've been telling the girls in the book club that I'm like having a fruit obsession lately. So I stocked up on a bunch of fruit to make smoothies and just eat while I read Onyx Storm tomorrow. It's 9:24 and I think I'm like 60% into Iron Flame. So the audiobook says I have 5.5 hours left, so it's gonna be a night. It's gonna be a night. Best part about it though is I literally have forgotten pretty much everything. Like when Varish is, my brain's not working, when he's interrogating her, like has her locked up, and he's like not interrogating her, but he's like beating her up in order to get her to tell him the truth. What's the word for that? My brain's not working. I didn't even remember that, or like Dane saving her, or like I don't remember any of this part at all. I feel like my memory of Onyx Storm, my memory of them, my memory of Iron Flame was them after this part, which is so weird because the whole beginning of the book is so good, and I don't know why I didn't like love it at the first time. I'm finding it so much more enjoyable this time because it's probably because I know what happens in the end. Maybe that's why I'm not like rushing through it. I feel like my first read, I rushed through it because I wanted to know what the ending was. But now that I already know how it's going to end, it's kind of just more enjoyable. I could just like read it for funsies. So it's going good. I'm going to eat some fruit and keep listening. I've been craving orange juice, so I'm about to see if this has been slapping the way it has been in my mind. But another thing I just thought about is when Violet's mom meets them as they're like running from, they just like murked everybody in the interrogation room. They run into Violet's mom, and she goes and like has a private conversation with Violet. And when they bring up the lashings on Xaden's back, she is like starting to say that it's a tearish something, but then like gets cut off, and like Violet's like, I don't want to hear anymore. So that, I'm like, was that kind of her saying that it's like, it's something that the tearish people would do? It's like, I don't know, it's like it's what is that called? It's like a cultural thing. It's not like what Violet thinks it is, or what? I'm confused. Because it's almost like she was gonna give like an explanation or like a reasoning for it, but then it got cut off. Let's see. That is perfect. That is absolute perfection. So happy. Happy February 21st, aka Onyx Storm Day. I woke up at 5 this morning feeling like absolute crap. So that kind of changed my Onyx Storm plans. Barnes & Noble, my book still won't get here till the 23rd. I was gonna go fight you guys at Target for a copy, but then when I looked online, it said that my throat literally hurt so bad. It said that the copies were gonna be like so hard to get, and I was just like, I'm not gonna get there. I would have had to get there at 6:30. Got in line, waited, ran to the back of the store after waking up sick. No. Then I thought about going to Barnes, but I'm just like, honestly, I'm still reading Iron Flame. I still have 40 pages left. And I haven't been able to read because every time I start reading, I fall asleep because I'm literally so sick, and I think my body's just like fighting the infection. So I just like get so tired. This is the real first time. It's 2:23. This is the real first time I've actually been up and been talking all day, and I've been up since 7. So yeah, I'm gonna finish these last 40 pages and just read Onyx Storm on my Kindle. Honestly, it's fine, and I'm gonna be patient, wait for my Barnes order. We're just gonna wait. And my mail from USPS or UPS already got delivered, so I know for sure it ain't coming today, unfortunately. Maybe I should check my mailbox. Maybe they put it in there. Maybe I'll check. But the shipping says it's not here, so Do you throw that at me?
No.
Okay, guy's here too because he's also sick. Okay, anyway, I'm on chapter 62 and the battle is about to begin. So let's start reading before I fall asleep again. Actually crazy is I don't remember reading any of this. Like, that's how I felt probably this much of the book. I felt like they spent so much time on the mountain. On my reread, I'm like, I didn't feel that way at all. Actually, they weren't really on the mountain at all. What? Like, it's so bizarre. Very, very bizarre. I'm like, did I read this book? I did, right? Yeah, I did. Why is it so different this time? 5 pages left. All done. So hard about the ending of this book is I feel like it's so confusing. I guess not confusing, but I feel like there's so many little hints that it's like, what does she mean by that? Like, she gives you just enough to question if you are reading what you think you're reading. So anyway, I cannot believe the 3rd book's out. I'm so excited. I'm just gonna get on my Kindle. I'm so excited. All the girls in the book club are already sharing all the spoilers. Like, there's a way to cover it in Discord. And I am avoiding them like the plague. So now I can finally take part. I'm so excited. Okay.
What book is it gonna be?
It's called Onyx Storm.
So there's a storm
Storm, yeah.
inside the book.
It's officially Onyx Storm time. I did try to read at my kids' basketball game. Basketball practice. Wasn't really working. I was too distracted. Anyway, we're back home. I took some Dayquil. I'm feeling okay. I purposely did not take NyQuil so that I could stay up and read. We're doing a sprint in the book club and I need to like get into this. Like, I need to focus. I need to lock in and get going because I'm pretty sure I only read like 2 or 3 pages. Actually, no, I was on the prologue. I literally got 1 tap over. One, not even a page because this is smaller. Anyway, let's get going. I'm so freaking excited. For Onyx Storm, I'm gonna do, should I just full spoilers? I might just full send full spoilers. Like, we're just gonna go for it. I think I will. Okay. Can't wait for like the first shocking thing. Like, what's gonna be the first? Like, oh my word, Rebecca didn't. I am just absolutely rotting away in bed. Still reading Onyx Storm, but I'm only on chapter 7, if you can believe that. It's the 22nd, and I cannot stress enough how hard it is to read while you're sick. Like, I can't breathe and my lymph nodes are swollen and my body hurts and my head hurts and I'm tired. And it's making it very hard to get anywhere in this book. I'm only on chapter 7. That's like not even 100 pages in. It's not looking good. It's really not looking good for me. And I'm trying to just like sit here and focus and get like 100 pages in, but it ain't working. And I don't want to blame the book because I don't think it's the book's fault. It's the sickness's fault. It's the sickness's fault. But I'm just like I just want to go to sleep. That's my problem. I just want to sleep the whole day. But everyone in the book club is reading it and I can't catch up because I feel so terrible because I can't focus because I'm so overstimulated by this cold. So that's how it's going. I took Dayquil yesterday and tell me why it didn't even work. Did not work. Literally had no relief. I was like, well, literally, what was the point? So I think tonight at like 7, it's in 3 hours, I'm gonna take some NyQuil and till tomorrow, and hopefully we'll wrap this whole cold thing up because it's pretty annoying. Chapter 7's cute. Riddick is being so cutie. It's good vibes so far. I am a little stressed, I won't lie. It's a little stressful, but we're going good. I can't wait till we get like in the actual plot of the story. I feel like there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of new characters introduced that it's like, okay, maybe not new characters, but characters from the past that are like being brought forward or have some kind of connection. You just have to really focus a lot and pay attention. Otherwise, you will get left behind in the whole storyline. Trying to decide what I'm gonna have Kaylin pick me up for dinner. I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, then I just got to chapter 8, and I will say, I actually forgot to say that I read the first 4 chapters twice because I was literally like, I'm sorry, I literally just finished Iron Flame, and why do I still feel a little bit confused onto like what exactly we're trying to accomplish here? Like, I get some of it, but then other parts I'm just like, okay guys, it's like to solve one thing is like a 10-step process and involves like 100 different people, and I'm just like, whoa, I do not remember everybody. But I will say, chapter 8, it all comes together. So maybe don't be like me and like focus so much on like every single detail, because it does all end up coming together and you don't really need to know everything. So I wish I had that advice for myself hours ago when I reread all of that.
With the exception of the one in Rider Black. Zayden turns in his seat at the end of the table and lifts his scarred brow as shadows brush. Yourself if you can't be silent, Atos. The Duke of Caldeer leans back in his chair and runs out.
Made it to chapter 20. I have to tandem read, otherwise I don't know what the frick is happening. It's so much easier this way. So that's like $30, $40, $50, $65 on this whole reading experience, which is crazy. Because my physical book got pushed back another day. I had to buy the Kindle version for I think $14, and I bought Onyx Storm today for however much that was, which I think was actually on sale. I think it was like $8. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm eating it up. I'm absolutely eating it up. Once I got to chapter 15, 16, I'm absolutely sat. I will not be putting this down anytime soon. Thanks so much. I am absolutely sat, my loves. I've made it 42% in, and I have to say, Rebecca, she really slayed the writing on this one. First of all, I'm absolutely sad. Like, I'm absolutely sad. I'm not going anywhere. Second of all, this one's probably the funniest to me. I feel like I've laughed out loud multiple times, jaw dropped, like gasping, shocked, and lots of laughing. The wit, the sense of humor, it's very much giving. It's very much giving. And I feel like it's a different vibe than Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Like, they're just, it's more found family vibes, I feel like. And I'm absolutely sad. I'm gonna keep listening. It says I have 4.5 hours left. It's 10:47 though, so I'm definitely not gonna finish tonight. And I'm just gonna keep reading into the night because this is going great. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing. I'm getting stressed. I'm sorry. What? What? Oh my goodness. Oh. I can't even go on. I can't go on, but I must. But I cannot. I'm stressed. Alright. She had me over here looking at how long is in a chapter, so I know how long I will have to endure the stress. 10 minutes. Let's do this. What's happening? Exciting news. My book is here. Let's open it. It better be in pristine condition. And of course, as always, ignore how I look because the sickness is no joke. You see the sprayed edges? Dragons. It's in perfect condition, I will say. So pretty. I feel like it's even more beautiful in person. So glad we have a map because on my Kindle version, there's no map. And guys, I really needed a map for this one. It's very confusing. Anyway, let's see now where I am. Oh, it's so pretty. It's very stunning. So cool. I'm on chapter 30 something, I think. 35. Chapter 35. Wow, I'm almost done. Very exciting. Since I'm here, I might as well read a little bit. I just woke up from like a 3-hour nap. See if we can finally finish this stinking book. And I think something sad just happened. I feel like there was such an emphasis on going to war with people that you trust, and it literally makes me so nervous. Like, I'm so nervous for them on this quest. Like, I just feel like something really, really bad is coming. And I'm not ready for it. I'm actually not ready for it. Hello, guys. Good morning. It's the next day. As you can probably tell, I'm feeling much, much better. My voice still a little off, you know, but overall feeling a lot better. Saved my last 60 pages of Onyx Storm for today because I wanted to like record my reaction and read it with the sun up, and I was very tired yesterday. I read so much yesterday that I was kind of getting burnt out on the story. Like I just kind of needed a brain break. So we're hopping back into it in the physical copy. I love the sprayed edges. I think, is this my first book with that has like actually stenciled edges? No, I actually think it might be my second book with stenciled edges. And I love the dragon, so let's continue on reading Onyx Storm. My last little sprint. I'm on my last 60 pages of Onyx Storm, so let's read it together. And of course, this will be no spoilers. Okay, here we go. I'm nervous. This text is so small, I feel like in this book. Like I'm having such a hard time seeing this. I'm sorry, I can't see. I'm switching to my Kindle. This is how big my text is on my Kindle. I need large font, thanks so much. I have 30 pages left, and I will say, there's 1,000,001 characters, provinces, people, professors in this book. I would not be mad at Rebecca if she, you know, decided to kill some of them off. Just saying. Oh, what's happening? Period. I fear my theory is about to actually happen. Oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out. Chapter 63, I do feel like she's dragging this ending just a little bit too much for me. Chapter 64. Wait a second. Uh-oh. All knew this was gonna happen, but truly it's not looking good, loves. Literally what's happening right now. No. I need the rest of the day to recover from this. All right, let's wrap this up. I have 30 minutes left. What? No. Okay. What's happening? It just finished, but I'm very confused. I don't know how I'm feeling. Me crazy, but in the book club, some of us we're running it back. We gotta run it back again. So we're doing graphic audio of Fourth Wing, and it is, after knowing what we know from Onyx Storm, going back to the beginning has me literally gagged, jaw on the floor from the beginning of Fourth Wing. Like, it's too much. It's too much. I fear I am giggling, and I am just absolutely a smitten kitten right now. So I'm gonna update my reading journal. I think that's how I'm gonna start updating my reading journal, is just throughout the reading vlogs. So hopefully that I continue keeping up with it. Well, I always keep up with my reading journal, but I don't always record it. So I feel like this way I will update it within the videos, and so you guys can actually keep up to date with it and kind of see my ideas and how I'm filling it out and all that stuff. Yeah, we had to run it back. We had to run it back. And the graphic audio, wait, I listened to the graphic audio of Akatar, and like I really didn't love it. Like I wasn't like vibing with it that much, but the graphic audio for Fourth Wing, the cast they have for it is genuinely so good. It's so good. Yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna, oh good, the sun went away, it's so bright. I'm gonna update this and keep listening. This is it. Happy Saturday to me. Okay, I updated my journal. It's looking very good. I love that the first 3 books I've read this year are Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. And my 4th book is going to be Fourth Wing again, I think. Because we also have a book club meeting and I need to read The Wedding People. So I don't know, The Wedding People might be my 4th book this year, or it could be Fourth Wing graphic audio. The graphic audio is absolutely eating if I do say so myself. I have not shared Onyx Storm thoughts though, and I needed to sit on it for a day, but I think I'm ready to talk about Miss Onyx Storm. I did rate it a 4 stars on Goodreads. I really like it. I feel like it's interesting because after Iron Flame, everybody was like, oh, it's such a filler book and it was really boring. And I honestly kind of contributed to some of that, you know, negative talk of like, I felt like it was so boring at the time. I felt like coming off the high of Fourth Wing, Iron Flame fell so flat for me. But then I reread Iron Flame, obviously, as you guys saw, and I loved it so much. Like I was literally eating it up, and it was not boring at all. It was not at all how I remembered it being when I originally read it. But again, it was because I was coming off the high of Fourth Wing and just how action-packed that one is. And Iron Flame is very political. It's very political and a lot of world building happening in that one. Same with Onyx Storm, even more so. I feel like Onyx Storm, we're building out a lot more and there's less romance, which feels like makes it even more political because of the lack of that aspect. And just like after they bond, how much time they have to spend apart. So it's just it's a lot different than I think Fourth Wing, what we were used to seeing so much when they were both at the War College together a lot. And so I feel like Onyx Storm is going to take a lot of the same heat of like, oh, it's just a world building book, it's a filler book. I don't feel that way. I feel like it's all part of the grand story, and I feel like once we read the 4th book, we're gonna be like, oh my goodness, the 3rd book is so good. Kind of like what happened with me right now with like when I got the 3rd book. I now feel like Iron Flame is so good. So it's all just like perspective, and Iron Flame left off on such a huge
plot twist. But Rebecca said she loves a cliffhanger, and I fear we're going to be getting a cliffhanger in every book up until the last book. And I wonder if she might even do an open ending for the last book. I'm so stressed. Like, can't even think that far. I feel like Onyx Storm has less spice. I think it might have the least amount of, no, I feel like Fourth Wing probably has the least amount of spice, and then Onyx Storm, then Iron Flame maybe, I think. I don't know. I'm rereading, and I'll get back to you guys about that with my ranking, but I feel like Onyx Storm probably comes in number 2. Maybe 3. I don't know. Anyway, I actually like that there was less of that in the 3rd book and more politics, and I like how she expanded the world so much more. I said in the book club that it feels a lot like the expansion pack of Catan, which I'm rereading, or I'm listening to Fourth Wing, and it talks about how like Navarre has like ore and they trade a lot, and it obviously there's ore in Catan, so it just really, it's very, I like the politics and the trading aspect and the provinces and the continents and all of that. So I like the Onyx Storm feels like she's building out an extension to the world. Hi baby. 4 stars from me. You guys, imagine my shock when I went on Goodreads and I saw everyone's negative reviews. I was like, whoa. I kind of love my little book club bubble because I feel like we all had such a good time reading it and like good experience. The beginning is super confusing, like obviously, but other than that, like I feel like once I got into chapter like 14, 15, 16, it all started clicking for me and I really enjoyed it. The ending, last few chapters, I did feel like it was dragging quite a bit. But I think that she's also having to set up for the next book, you know, like it's all gonna play into it. I also feel like it dragged because I wanted to know what that last line was gonna be so bad. So I was just like, I just wanted to know, like I was anticipating it so much that I thought that everything else was boring. But I feel like when I reread it, I'm gonna like it because I already know what the ending is, you know. I feel like that's just kind of the cycle I end up in. I don't know why everybody like didn't like it or like rated it so low. Like people's ratings were so harsh for this one, I feel like. Anyway, I enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.